It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160. And our conversation with Colin Dickey is brought to you by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. He is the author of The Unidentified, Mythical Monsters, Alien Encounters, and Our Obsession with the Unexplained. Colin Dickey, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, I'm happy to have you on. This is a fascinating subject, and when I began to read about your book, I thought, well, this sounds really interesting. And then I started to read the book, and I was right. It is really, really fascinating. The way you get into what might be known as, fringe theories, would that be a good word or a good way to phrase our obsession with these things that just seem to take over our national consciousness and hold us and won't let us out of their grip?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think fringe is a good way to describe it. I think I was really interested in these things that kind of don't fit the normal rubric of kind of mainstream science or even, kind of religion and, the stuff that kind of falls in the cracks, your Bigfoot and your Loch Ness Monster, your aliens, your UFOs, stuff like that. I think I wanted to kind of understand exactly where these beliefs came from, kind of how they kind of settled into our consciousness and maybe, even try and kind of use them to maybe explain the current moment and the kind of wild conspiracy theories that are kind of flying all around us as we speak. Sometimes
when science absolutely stands in the way of some of these theories, it doesn't really matter to people, does it?
No, that's the surprising thing I think I found the more that I researched this is I think a lot of us think that, we see kind of one of these crazy beliefs and we think, oh, well, all you have to do is tell people, what the actual science, the actual truth is, and then they'll drop the belief. But that turns out not to work at all. And I think what you find instead is people tend to double down, or they tend to, kind of throw up kind of increasingly bizarre, but steadfast justifications for these really bizarre beliefs. And I think that, again, I wanted to, rather than just kind of debunk stuff or whatever, I wanted to really try and understand kind of what was motivating the belief. And why was that motivation so important that people were willing to kind of look past, facts and evidence before them? And
so in one book, we get the lost city of Atlantis and other cities that are lost. We get what's known as a cryptid, and we'll get into that in a second, UFOs and lemurs, all of those in one book. You must have had so much fun doing this.
Oh, my gosh, yes. It was a real blast. It was great. I was kind of crisscrossing all over the country. I went to Mount Shasta in Northern California where, I met a bunch of people who believed that underneath the mountain is the lost city of Telos populated by Lemurians, which, depending on who you talk to, are a lost human race, or maybe they are aliens, or maybe they are, Bigfoot, sort of strange. And I went from there to Gloucester Bay in Massachusetts, where there was this great sea serpent sighting in the 1800s, and just kind of all over the place looking for remnants and traces of these various bizarre things. I went to Kentucky to find evidence of the Great Kentucky Meat Shower of 1876 when meat fell from the sky.
I was talking about that. Hey, let's just focus on that for just a second, because what it does is it introduces us to a guy. You're writing about the Kentucky Meat Shower. Charles Fort, he's a really good test case for what's going on here in your book, isn't he?
Yeah, oh yeah, and I really love Charles Fort, and I think he really helps clarify, how to kind of approach some of this stuff. And so the meat shower of 1876, meat falls from the sky. The townspeople pick it up. I mean, this one way or another, this happened. This isn't a hoax. They found the meat. A couple guys even tried to taste it, which braver than I'll ever be. So scientific journals kind of try to make sense of it. They try to kind of put forth some theories. There are different theories as to what happened. Some of them make more sense than others. But Charles Fort, who his book, The Book of the Damned, comes out in 1919. And what Charles Fort does is he doesn't advance a kind of crackpot theory. He's not, arguing that, this stuff is all caused by aliens or, whatever. What he basically decides to do is he just basically decides to catalog this stuff. What he calls, damned facts that are excluded by science. facts that are excluded by religion, and his, what makes his writing really interesting is he at his best, he doesn't really offer any theories as to why these things happened. He just sort of presents them to you and says, look, this stuff is recorded, it's in the record, we think something happened here, we don't know what it was, and somebody's got to deal with it. And I think that's what makes the book really interesting and still kind of compelling is, if he had put together, a theory as to why these things would happen, we'd probably just sort of dismiss him as a crank. And instead, his writing kind of endures because it stays above that level.
Yeah, and he had many writings on many different topics. But I love with the meat shower. The guy shows up, another guy shows up a week later, and it stinks. He says like rotting human flesh, and he says, "I think I'll taste it."
Yeah. I mean, my favorite story is the New York Herald sends a reporter down to find out what's going on. The reporter gets a sample, and then he hires this Irish guy, like a local laborer, and he says, "Look, I'll pay you if you eat this stuff." And the laborer, he says, "All right, well, you got to give me something to wash it down with." So he gets him some whiskey, and then he says, "All right, but I don't need meat by itself. I need vegetables. I need some sides." So the reporter gets him some sides, and he's running out of options. He's running out of ways to dodge this, and finally he says, "Well, you know what? It's Lent. I can't eat meat anyway." So he takes off. So.
I know, it's gorgeous. That's a gorgeous story. Okay, we don't have all that much time left with you today, so I want to get into a couple of things. What is a cryptid?
So cryptid is a catch-all for Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, Chupacabra, Jersey Devil. It's just crypt means hidden, like cryptography or something like that. So cryptid is a hidden animal, an animal that people have posited that exists, but we don't have definitive evidence of. They're always kind of elusive, kind of at the margins, kind of hiding from us.
Yeah, and so we think of Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster in that category. Another thing is UFOs. They have their own special category in this, don't they?
Yeah, and exactly. I mean, cryptids exist or they don't, however you want to think about it. But one thing is for sure is we don't believe that the government is hiding evidence of the Loch Ness Monster from us. And that's what's different between, cryptid and a UFO is that UFOs kind of start in the same same realm of, something fantastical, something that's not proven, but maybe it exists out there. But it immediately becomes about, well, the government has evidence, but the government is hiding it from us, and over time, that kind of history becomes a lot more paranoid, a lot more skeptical, and a lot more kind of malevolent in this way. One of the things I write about in the book is this group in Long Island, New York, who became convinced that the local government was hiding evidence of UFOs, and so they stole some radioactive material that they were then plotting to put in these council members' food to poison them, so that they could literally kill them to get evidence of these UFOs. So it's a much darker timeline at times.
I'll tell you what, you get into some real science in this too, and it really is enlightening for us. The book is called The Unidentified: Mythical Monsters, Alien Encounters, and Our Obsession with the Unexplained. And our last couple of moments here with Colin Dickey. Colin, it's on sale now. Tell folks how they can get this.
I mean, it's available wherever books are sold. You can get it, at your local bookshop. You can get it online at, bookshop.org or Amazon or wherever you buy books. It should be available.
Beautiful, beautiful. And take your vacation in Atlantis because why not? It's there just as every other city is, right?
Exactly. Yeah, have a good time.
Colin, thanks so much. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks.
Bye now.